with staging, a great way for me to start and just to get the story going. An anchor to make all the decisions on is artwork. Once you've decided on artwork, you've got colour, you've got story, you've got texture, you've got things like the frame colour and what to work with, or whether woods can be introduced, or like, it's just such a great way to launch the whole property on what direction you go with.
Welcome to season 2 of Behind the BNB. I am thrilled to be joined today by Katrina Maes. Her and her husband own Maes Group, and she is based in Tasmania. So Katrina, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to have you on. So we'll get straight into it. I want everyone to know who you are, a bit of your background, what you've done before, and what led you to doing Airbnb. So
yes.
Over.
Oh, okay. So as you said, we're currently living in Tassie. We haven't lived here all of our married life, but moved here about 10 years ago, found a little spot that's great for the kids. We've got 2 kids, Zeke, who's 22, and Eiley, who is just turned 10 double digits, and she's quite proud of that. We love the quieter life for them, out of the traffic, and just a little bit of farm life, a few animals, and we homeschool Eiley. So that's part of my role on a day-to-day process. And I also love the fact that she gets to sit in on conversations and just learn vicariously. She's always there listening just on business things that are going on, which is quite entertaining when we get her take on it afterwards.
I can only imagine. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so we've lived here. We sold a business in Melbourne. I started a home staging business, but prior to that, I did accounting. I did bachelor business at uni, and decided that wasn't really for me. Wanted to do something more creative, so we did a home staging business. It's actually 22 years ago we started that. And agents would laugh us out of the office saying, that's not going to work. What are you thinking? That's crazy. So that was, hard at the beginning. Theo came in full-time after about 2 years, which again was another big learning curve for both of us. And we built that business up until after about 20 years, we'd done 6,000 different staging jobs. And that was all over the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Sometimes we go over to the other side, but most of it was the eastern side of Melbourne. And that was a lot of building relationship with real estate agents and property developers as well. It was awesome. I wrote 2 books about it, did a training about it. And that's been really, that was actually a really good business card. Arriving to someone's house, giving them a book, and just because it gave me credibility and experience when at that time I was younger, and it was harder to get in the door and get noticed. So that's kind of my background. We sold that business, and then we went into commercial property, which is in my grandfather did that as well in New Zealand. So it's kind of a family business. And so that's always made sense to me. And we've still got that, and that ticks along nicely. But I really miss the creativity and the staging and the fun side of that. And the guest interaction, as tricky as that can be sometimes, I do enjoy the relationship you build with people as they come in and out of your property, even though sometimes you don't meet them. But people are sending me photos of their dogs enjoying the space, and just little cute little things that you just think, oh, yeah, that's why I'm doing it. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. There's a lot in there that you shared that, first of all, I didn't even know you had 2 books out.
Oh, okay. They're very old.
Well, what are they about?
They're about home staging.
Okay.
So guides
Get
on.
my hands on those, by the way. Are they on Amazon? Can I order them?
So I sold them with the rights to the business. So,
Okay.
but I think they are. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they would. One maybe not printed anymore, but one definitely is. Yes.
Okay. What's that one called?
The Australian Guide to Home Staging.
Australian Guide to Home Staging.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna have to get my hands on that. That's incredible. So, how old? You said you were quite young when you released the books. Is that right?
Yes, when I started, and
Yeah.
I've not that I'm, I'm
Yeah.
52 now, so that was 20 years ago, long
Okay.
time ago.
Yeah. That's very impressive. And so this is also why I'm so excited to have you on the show, and I'm so grateful you decided to come on, because design process is something that quite a few people find challenging. And you absolutely nail it with the Airbnbs that I've seen. They are just beautifully curated, designed. And so part of having you on today is to actually share a little bit of that, your knowledge, and well, a great knowledge and experience when it comes to all of this. So, but we'll come back to that in a
Okay,
minute,
sure.
because I wanted to find out what brought you into the Airbnb space.
Yeah,
Or first of all, how did you even come across James and
yes,
sign up to
yes.
the course? And how long have you been? First of all, how long have you been a student in the course?
So we started in February, end of February,
Just this year. Wow.
and we've had well, on our property, there's a little pickers hut that we turned into an Airbnb. So that's been good for guests and learning. I did a lot of my learning on what guests can be like, and I did keep a pretty good score, except over COVID, someone got quite upset that wasn't up to date with all of the restaurant changes that happened overnight. We've just had it open for our guests when they come from the mainland, which can happen a lot. So that's probably our first introduction to Airbnb and running it. But as far as the rent to rent model, our first two were in Easter time.
Mm.
Those listed and live, and we came across James on Facebook about February, and
Mm.
I'd been saying to Theo, I'd really like to do another Airbnb somewhere warmer so we could spend more time in winter away from the Tassie cold. He
Mm.
doesn't feel it as much as me, but I
Yeah.
get in my bones.
Yeah. The women, we definitely feel the cold a lot more than they do. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And so,
So that's been my dream, just to do that. But we worked out we could only do one or two, and that's not as fun as doing multiple. I saw
well, where
your
are they,
one,
by the way? There's
they're
the
Sunshine Coast.
Sunshine Coast is where you've got those. Yeah.
Yes. So we
Yeah.
can't fly directly into the Sunshine Coast, but we can to Brisbane, and it takes an hour. So
Okay.
that was kind of the thinking behind that. Apart from the fact that I love the beaches and the warmer weather, and their
Mm.
winters up there are incredible
Mm.
compared to ours.
I can't say that I remember it, because we lived in Brisbane, like when my
Okay.
parents first moved from South Africa to
Oh,
Australia.
wow. Yeah.
It was like 1995, 96, and we
Yeah.
lived in Brisbane for a year.
Okay.
But I can't remember the winter. So what's the winter time like over there?
I was talking to some of my team up there, and they said, "Oh, it's cold here this morning. It's not like 12 degrees, then again top of 20." And I went, "Oh, that's my ideal. Perfect."
Yeah. I mean, that is ideal, really. Like, it's not really winter, but it's
No.
funny because for them it'll be really cold. But
Oh,
if you're
it
used to
is.
the cold, like you are, being in Tasmania,
Yes.
or even for us having lived in England, we're like, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's yeah. So you've got two in the Sunshine Coast,
Yes.
and they're
Yes.
rental arbitrage, rent to rent.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So how did you? So you said you launched them in Easter.
Yes.
How did you acquire them? Like did you get them at the same time, or you got one first and then another one shortly
No,
after?
I got them at the same time.
Oh, okay.
which was, clever. I thought there were parts of it that worked really well, and
Yeah.
doing it at the same time worked really well. But a
Mm.
lot of it, the technical side of it, which I hadn't done before,
Mm.
anyway.
And so was that through an agent or someone you knew?
No, so an agent. So I tried calling, and I'd end up stretched out on the floor in front of the fire. Theo, I can't do this. I can't. It's just so hard, and hadn't got my message strong enough. I hadn't, I was saying things like, "Oh, we'd like to do, 6 months of putting it on Airbnb and then 6 months of us living there."
Hmm.
But now I worked out quickly that, that was way too confusing for them, and
Yeah.
I just said, "It's a business. I need 3 years at minimum, and I need permission to sublet." And once I got that very clear, then they understood, and then
Great.
I backed it up with my business experience,
Mhm.
and, they'd ask more. But
Yeah.
yeah, just being airy-fairy and maybe we'll do this or maybe we'll do that. It
It just goes to show you have to know, yeah, but like what and look, you gave it your best shot, and this is the best way to learn. It's just starting initial, like
yeah,
just actually like making those calls and getting confident on the
yeah,
phone. And it's funny, I don't know if you practice a little bit or did you
yeah.
just went for it?
Oh, no, I practiced. And
Yeah,
then I thought, surely with all these years talking to real estate agents,
right?
I'd be fine. But it's
Yeah.
totally different and starting new, and my confidence level in that had to grow.
Yeah.
And then I got up there. Oh, then I said, "Okay, Theo, if I can't find anything, we'll just go and spend 4 or 5 days, and we'll just, hit the road and go to every open we can." And that's what we did. The 3 of us, Theo and I went up, and we had a ball. I just loved every minute of it. And that's probably, I should just have known to play to my strengths,
Yeah.
because a lot of people can do that rapport on a phone very quickly, but
Mm.
not so much me. I'm more of a nervous person, and I just
Yeah.
have to take a while just to warm up as far as that sort of conversation goes when I
Yeah.
have an agenda.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
went to something like we went past 30 properties. I downloaded, titles for a lot of properties, and um, I, did a little letter and put in letterboxes to them all. Um, and the first response from someone was, "We're only going for 3 months, otherwise, definitely a big yes." And I thought, "Oh, that's my first positive response. Woohoo."
This was a different approach. So you sourced the properties that were rentals.
Yeah, so I found them on realestate.com,
Okay. This is an interesting process. Yeah. Tell us about this process. Yeah.
but I must have learnt it from one of the calls.
Yeah.
Someone told me about it from one of the training calls. Anyway, so I found them, looked at the address, the agent. I'd only download the titles if the agent didn't want anything to do with it. If the
Mm,
agent would talk to me, there was no problem. But
mm,
a lot of the agents up there were saying, "Oh, no, we don't deal with anyone like that. That's not in our, um,
Remit. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that's fine."
Yeah.
So I thought, "Well, you've given me permission to go directly to the owner," so that's what I did,
Mm,
with the letter, and I did a title search of the property, and sometimes that gives you enough information.
mm.
Sometimes it's just being able to give the name on the letterhead and, just your proposal. Yeah, so that worked out really well.
That's great.
And then we did a few open for inspections with some agents, and the one agent of one of the properties we got just said, "Oh, no, I can't see this working. I don't understand why you need a company. I don't understand any of it." Anyway,
Mm,
so we kind of wrote that off and
mm,
just went to the second one, and that which we signed up and we did.
mm.
Um, but then 2 weeks later, we get a call from the agent. "Oh, the owner's really interested, and we've got some questions." So
Ah,
even though you get a no up front and it felt like that was a hard no, like there was no getting past that agent. We were quite surprised to realise that the owners felt completely different,
Yeah.
and they've turned out amazing.
And that's all because the owner received your letter and then spoke to the agent about wanting to go through with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I love that approach, and it's what we did like years ago
Okay.
with the Sheffield
Okay.
block. So we
Yes.
our first block, I think it was like 11 units in that
Yeah.
block. We started off with 2, and the landlord he was like, well, I'll give you a chance, let's see, you know, how this pans out. Brand new block as well, so he just built it,
Yeah.
gave us an opportunity, and then he liked what we were doing and was like, yeah, and then he just kind of gave us another one, and
Okay.
then
Yes.
2, until it was the entire
Yeah. Wow.
building.
That's amazing.
So he was the owner, I should say,
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
landlord, but then he had some people purchase a couple. And so then we had to do the letter for the
Okay.
owners of these apartments as well. And
Okay.
we got full permission in the end because, you get to explain everything in
Yes.
form,
Okay. Yes.
and they can actually comprehend it a lot more.
Yes.
Well done on taking a different approach, because calling on the phone can be so intimidating. But I mean, you know, it's sometimes if you just stick to it and you're okay with handling multiple no's, because sometimes you get a lot of knockbacks.
Yes.
Like I think about Nikki and Beck, who are actually Brisbane based,
Yes.
you know, and I think it's Beck that does all the calls, and she shared,
Okay.
like in one of the interviews, how she got knocked back so many times until she mastered that.
Yes.
Until she mastered, you know, her speech and her flow,
Yes.
explaining it. So it does take a few times.
It really does.
Yeah, but it's about pushing through, and then look at these beautiful properties that you have now. And so have you had a chance to stay in them yet?
Yes. So when I went up by myself afterwards then to spend a week to stage them and get them ready, until the photographer came and everything was ready to go live.
Yeah.
And that was over Easter. And part of it was being able to stay there and just really get to know it a bit and watch where the light comes at night and watch the sunset come over the water and walk along the beach and all those sorts of things that I just would love for people to fall in love with when they go.
Yeah. Oh, I love hearing that, because I felt the same. Like every time we go to our property, it's a 4-minute drive to the beach, and I go there and I'm like, yes, I've got to set up the internet or I've got to work something out, but I just want to stay there. Like we haven't even stayed there
Oh,
ourselves, but
yeah.
our close
Yeah.
friends stayed, and they said it's just such a beautiful property. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is what's really special about being able to do. You know, in our case, we've purchased this one, but even the
Okay.
rent to rent model,
Yeah.
you can
Yes.
get some beautiful properties in incredible locations.
Yes.
And so, had you done your research on these before going for them? Like that, you knew it was a good area?
Yes, so I'd done and sent them through to Daryl to analyze them all.
I still need to get him on this podcast, but shout out to Dazza. He's an incredible coach in our community.
That was so good, and I got the timing was I got his feedback right when they accepted. So that was, so good because
Yeah.
you don't know how far to push everything or fast to push everything, but it
Mm,
worked really well.
mm. So, how long did it take to get the contract signed and all? It was like a week or 2 weeks to get everything finalized before you went in and set it all up?
Um, so I'm just trying to so the one in Maroochydore, the one on the canal, the waterfront, it's a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom. That probably took 2 weeks of going back and forth with the contract, and then I signed it, took the keys on the Monday, and had that photographed on the Wednesday, and that one was completely empty, and then the other one we was negotiating and going back and forth at the same time, and we took that on the Thursday, and then that was ready on the Monday after Easter. So,
Wow. So you took the second one on a Thursday, and you set it up. So you styled it for like Friday over the weekend, and then
so
yeah,
that one was partially furnished. beds and things were there. So I just had to bring in one lounge room, and bedrooms, and then artwork and cushions and things, accessories. So that one was a lot easier.
Yeah. Okay. I think this leads nicely into your design process now for the first property, Maroochydore. That was
Yes.
completely empty.
Yes.
I would love for you to share your design process for getting that one set up. Or
Yeah,
what?
for sure.
Um,
Even with staging, a
mhm.
great way for me to start and just to get the story going, and just an anchor to make all the decisions on is artwork. Once
Mm,
you've decided on artwork, you've got color, you've got story, you've got texture, you've got things like the frame color on what to work with, or whether woods can be introduced, or it's just such a great way to launch the whole property on what direction you go with. On Facebook Marketplace, I'm completely addicted. So I found 13 pieces of artwork in Maroochydore for sale for $400. So I quickly locked them in before I got the property, but I thought if everything lines up, that is just going to be so amazing, because that's a huge chunk of artwork that I knew that I needed for all those walls that
yeah.
would, and they're beautiful. Even they're not, I had to reframe some of them and clean them up a lot, as in they were quite dusty, but
Mm.
um, I knew that that had enough story to it and enough color that I wanted, and a little bit of a story. So I just added that in our copy and our description, a little bit of Mediterranean influence. You don't want to be themed, but it just gives you that little hint of a story, and there's so many different stories you can attach to it, but artwork is such a great way. And if you can't do artwork, do a signature cushion, or even just a coffee table book as your template of what you want to do for colors and textures, and it just makes the whole decision making so much easier.
Yeah. That's very interesting, a very interesting approach. So does Pinterest ever come into it for you? Because a lot of the time, I go to Pinterest, depending on obviously the property. So this one that I've recently done, I straight away was like, it's right near the beach. So of course I'm going to go with a coastal theme.
Yeah, yes.
And so then that's my go-to. So I'll go straight to Pinterest, look up coastal themes. So your approach is artwork first.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, and I just have a blank, and if I'm doing everything remotely,
Mm.
or I'm doing something for a client or someone that needs a mood board or something, I just pull up a whole heap of artwork onto a blank presentation, just like an Apple or whatever PowerPoint.
Yeah.
That's a really good one, just to manipulate easily and just dump all the images on. And then once your artwork's there, then you can just layer up with what's on for sale at the moment as well.
Mm.
Yeah, so if I want to know what
Yeah.
trends are going, but like Freedom, they're up to date with everything. So that will give you a good indication of colorways and stories, and everything's going a little bit Mediterranean at the moment. So that's a really good little flavor to add. Olive leaves, or there's a lot of different things you can add
Yeah.
in that arsenal.
So you do look at what's trending as well.
Yeah.
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 And then do you, try and obviously consider it being timeless as well in
Yeah,
terms
definitely.
of being able
Yes.
to leave, decor and that there for, because when we want to take on these properties, especially rental arbitrage, rent to rent, rental, it's so American, but you're signing a contract for, at least what, 2-3
Yeah.
years,
Yes.
and you ideally don't want to be changing
Oh,
decor.
no. Yeah, no.
No.
It doesn't change that quickly.
Mm,
And there are certain things like how you position it, it's timeless. And
mm,
if you layer it up with rugs, all those ingredients that you need in a room, all the placement of that and the timelessness of that
mm,
works in your favor. Yeah,
mm.
so you shouldn't find that your decor dates within 3 years.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say, for example, I know this may be hard to talk through without actually trying to
Yes.
visually display it.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh, maybe I should have thought this through more. I could have had you share a screen and actually start with an artwork and then show us how you design, I don't know, what would be the smallest room, like a study, or maybe let's talk a living room and try and talk that through. And
Yeah, sure. In my stack of artwork that I got, the 13, there was some olivey greens in there, which I know is completely in, they're everywhere as far as IKEA or Freedom, or you can just get all the stock that you need at a reasonable price. So I positioned the one with the olive green. There are a few with just neutral colors, but I positioned that kind of the calling or the most when every time you enter a room, you want that first impression of that room just to grab your attention and grab emotion. And the way to do that is with color. Color connects with each other, and you don't need a lot of color, but just one accent color. And one of the particular artwork had a green door in it, an old-fashioned rustic sort of green door. So I thought, great, that's going to be my furthest point in the room, and I'm going to be able to position all the greens, the floor rug, and all the cushions, coffee table, a lamp, and all the greenery, the plants and things as well, to balance off that green in that door. So I'm always
you just that's really simplifying it really well.
Yes, so that's kind of what I'm looking for in artwork. You don't want it too busy. You don't want a lot of places we've stayed at over the years. I've seen artwork that takes up visual space, like a massive animal head that over a fireplace actually feels like it's coming into a room, and that can make it feel overwhelming or unwelcoming or smaller than it needs to. Whereas if you've got a piece of artwork that actually draws you into that picture, you're creating space within the room, and it is more welcoming and bigger and more opulent, more expensive.
Yeah, that's true. And that's definitely what you've achieved and you continue to achieve in your design as well when we look at the pictures of the properties that you've done. So yeah, that's really interesting. So I guess depending on the size of the room as well will obviously determine the size of the artwork you go for.
Yeah.
Or is there sort of like a minimum? No, it would be based on the scale of the room, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And when I don't have that, I'll do mirrors. Mirrors are great, but artwork is such a great way to introduce the colors and textures that you want. And I would have chosen bigger artwork, and I have upstairs for Maroochydore 1, but because I knew there were 13 of these vertical artwork, I could stack them up against each other, and I found an awesome guy to hang them all for me. He hung them beautifully, because that's the next trick. If they're not hung properly, you just lose the effect.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, only because I recently hung some artworks up at our property, and I didn't want to go drilling too many holes in walls. And that. I'm very much like hands-on. I'm going to do this myself. But some of the nails or the screws weren't positioned in the right spot. So then I did have one artwork, I think master bedroom. It was a little bit too high.
Yes.
What's your advice around guidelines? Or you said you just hired someone. Did you have to give him any direction in terms of?
Oh yes, everything. You don't want to be as particular as if you are watching for your photographer taking the photos.
Right.
That's how. Because your artwork takes up so much of your room that without it, we'd have people beg us not to put artwork in when they'd put their properties for sale. But you just take so much soul out of the staging everything just finishes at your knees, and you miss all of that beautiful story and the color,
Yeah.
and the yes, and positioning of it will finish the room.
Mm.
And even just the breaks where you don't have artwork finishes the room. So between, even when you've got an open fan living, which is what's in Maroochydore, your lounge room is connected to the dining room. So we've positioned the artwork over the couch to make the lounge room had a break, visual break, and then it around the dining table to signify a different room. So you don't have to have it always through everything.
Mm.
It's good to have a break.
Yeah. And when you talk about visual breaks, just for those people who are like, what does that even mean? it's it's as you say, it's the living room, and it's about positioning the artwork in where, like you're putting it, you're saying above a sofa if you've got the wall to work with, but what if there's a window there, and it's like you've got maybe the TV on one wall. I think this is where it's kind of hard to do this without the actual
Yes.
tools of being able to
Yes.
show, how to actually do a design. So we may have to do another session at some point.
Yeah. We can talk, and even just looking at a
Yeah,
floor plan,
that's helpful.
if yeah, every time.
Yeah.
So helpful just to get your head around how it will flow, and if you've got enough space, and how guests will operate in it, and how
Mm.
much furniture to bring in, and just the extra little bits that you can bring that are, if it doesn't work here, it'll work here, or it'll work here,
Yeah,
but just layers up to something quite beautiful.
that's good. So in terms of a step-by-step process, so we're saying step one, start with your artwork,
Yes.
and draw inspiration for the overall look and
Yes.
feel. But then are we going artwork, then we're looking at the floor plan, and then at the same time, trying to work out the types of furniture we're going to get and where it's going to fit and all the rest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
So
yeah, just to try and simplify the process for people who just have no idea when it comes to this stuff, but they want help.
yeah. And
Yeah,
it is overwhelming, for sure it is.
yeah,
But once you get started, and then it makes it easy to make those decisions, because you've got something to anchor it on.
mm,
Whereas if you're kind of making a decision but not 100% locked in with a style or something that you're going for, it's easy to waver or get confused or to introduce something else that's beautiful on its own, but when you put it with everything else, it doesn't have the impact.
mm. I'm just thinking that artwork behind you, I absolutely love it. And I know you told me already where you got it from. So freedom.
Yes, I did get that freedom.
Yeah. And so just even looking at the room behind you, you've used that artwork to design the room that you're sat in now.
Yes. So see how the light in the middle of the artwork draws you in and creates space in the room?
Mm,
And then the artwork is what the area looks like. So I would happily use this for staging if I needed to. And then that gives you enough color to pick out one or two, if you're brave, accent colors.
mm,
And you can just do um, silvery or grays or linens, and then just a greeny or teal accent that then you can bring it somewhere else in the room as well. But you don't have to overwhelm your room with a lot of color, just
mm.
a couple of accent things, and then you're not stuck by trends too much. It's not hard to change it up.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I like how you've got even behind you. It's more of for your main pieces of furniture. Would you advise people to go more neutral with
Yeah,
like the sofas and
yeah,
like bed frames and that? Yeah,
yes,
and then do accent colors in the
yes,
day. Yeah,
yes. And
yes.
having said that, it's fun to go the other things as well, but they do change more quickly,
Mm,
and you'll find that something feels dated in 5 years, whereas some things should last, a good 10 years
mm.
if
So
it's new.
yeah, so you're talking about furniture pieces, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what sort of sort of sofas would you advise people get, like to keep it timeless and not have to change it, for example?
Yeah, so I know when we were staging a lot, it got tempting to get bright, beautiful sofas.
Like these, which I hate. But anyway, we're not going to get into that story. That was all I could get on the day when I
Oh,
really needed a podcast set, but
yes,
this
and
is what I want to be doing.
we have days like that as well, where there's nothing else available and you just have to make what you've got work.
You have to improvise. But yeah, but if you've got the time to be planning, you know, your look, whether it be days or 24, 48 hours,
Yeah.
it's better to get something that is neutral. Like, so we're talking grays.
Yes,
Yeah.
linens, or even lovely browns work well, and they're really in at the moment as well. A lot of layers of browns and leathers, and you don't want something looking like an old folks home, so just be careful of shapes and things that bring people to that space. And even positioning of your property, of your furniture, can often feel like an old folks home if it's all against one wall, or it's not conversational, or or the shape of it's too high or wrong.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, so I saw you pick up a cushion there. What were you going to say about that?
Oh, just textures.
Yeah, I love that one, by the way. I love
Through it.
that cushion. Yeah, and so okay, that's helpful. And I'm just thinking, what sort of other advice would you give to someone who's just not creative at all, doesn't have that background, but obviously want to set up their Airbnb in such a way that it does stand out in
Yeah, definitely.
the market?
I would just say don't think that you can't create it. Like, it's easy to think, oh, I can't do that, or that's not in my wheelhouse. But whatever you see in a picture, you can recreate. Whatever you get inspiration from, you can think, I can take that apart bit by bit and recreate that in my space. And if you open yourself up to and ask the questions of how can I do it, instead of having oh, I can't do that, that's not my thing, you kind of will just limit yourself to that if that's where you but if you really want to be able to do it, then you can have that belief that you can get your artwork right. Ask people. There's always going to be someone in your contacts, or even in this program, that will help give a bit of advice about it.
Yeah, surely everyone knows someone who's got a little bit of a creative flair, and they could always go to and ask. But I think it's refreshing to hear you talk about using an artwork, because I think that could help a lot of people, just even starting from that point, and then, as you say, drawing one color or two colors out of that in terms of the decor, and working with that. I have had a few people send me, photos of their listings, and at times it's like, okay, you want to be encouraging but provide constructive criticism at the same time, especially when they ask, what do you think? So not long ago, someone sent me some pictures, and in their living room they had a rug. They said it was last minute that they put this rug in the living room, but it was too small for the space, so it didn't fit under. Some people don't have the rule of how you're supposed to lay a rug out. Even something as simple as that. So maybe you can talk a little bit about layout when it comes to. We could do one room at a time. So if we're talking about, how are you positioning furniture and rugs, decor?
Yes, so rugs you want as big as you possibly can, because that just means it feels more luxurious. And if the room can take a big one, your positioning of your couch on it will definitely work wherever. But a smaller one will just limit the feeling in the room and just make it feel like you've done it on the cheap or quickly done it. But the bigger your rug, the better. And
Yeah.
even if you put 2 rugs together, you're better off doing that than having one small one that doesn't provide the luxury or the shadowing underneath the couch. If you can, you want it under the couch. Sometimes it'll work just in front of it, but most times you want it to be under the couch. And then if you've got armchairs or another couch, you want that connected on the rug as well, because again, that feels like a beautiful conversational piece with it all symmetrical. Symmetry is so important. If you're struggling with wet placement, try and think symmetry on the wall, symmetry with the rug on the floor, and then you can start layering up the other pieces. But don't do that until you've got the symmetry of your rug and your couch and your artwork. And then you're able to go in and layer up with your lamp, with your plants, with your cushions.
All the fun bits.
Yeah, all the fun bits. The coffee table books. Throws are really important to give another little bit of color and texture. And they don't have to be expensive ones, just that positioning of the same color somewhere else in the room. Somehow that color talks to each other within the room or in photos, and creates a beautiful place, beautiful balanced space.
Yeah. I'm getting ideas in my head of you and I one day partnering up and us actually doing it's almost like our own show, but almost like as like a couple of segments on design and how to, because it is everything, when it comes to people wanting to stay at your property, you're going to book what looks amazing, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I mean, that's me anyway, and I feel like it is.
Yeah, totally.
You obviously want to stay somewhere that is just like absolutely stunning in every way. And I think when you take a bit of time to actually consider design and how the property is going to look, it's well worth the time to put in.
We've stayed at a lot of places where they have the ingredients, but just the tweaking, and I'd love, not that I've done it, but I'd love to. I have straightened pictures for people, and I always make sure the cushions are good when I leave. I haven't gone through and changed people's inserts to feather. I've been tempted to do that a few times.
Oh, there's nothing worse, right? I feel like people watching this, what do you mean? The cushions, they need to be feather filled, please. It just looks so much more.
It's so, everything.
Yeah. Like the ones behind Katrina right now, they're the ones that you want to go for.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got any there at the moment, but it's a podcast set, totally different. Yeah. That's brilliant. So, the other thing I was going to ask you, so that Maroochydore property, the furniture, did you purchase or did you hire it? How did you go about
purchase that one? Yes. So again, on Facebook Marketplace, there was a place closing down 4 minutes away, and they had beautiful things, and they're directly from Freedom. Yeah, I didn't understand exactly how I got them directly from Freedom, but I got them for a good price. Wow. I think the couch was 1,400, and then the floor rug was from Pillow Talk.
And this was, so you got most of your furniture from Facebook Marketplace?
Yes. So normally I would, when I had the business, I would do everything with the wholesalers. And I've got some awesome wholesaling contact, even with if you're struggling with artwork suggestions, I can give you of wholesalers to go to, which again fills with all sorts of inspiration of what you can put together with what. But I knew the timing. I had a week up there, and I had to do it fairly quickly. And if you buy well, you can get as good as, if not better than your wholesalers.
Yeah. You know how people just get stuck in their own way of doing something? So for me, it was always furniture hires or leasing, furniture leasing. And then it would be having to improvise, because sometimes these furniture companies don't always have what you really want. There's that thumbs up again. And so, yeah, that's again another great step in the process, for people who are watching this who, yeah, there you go. Facebook Marketplace, have a look, check out what artworks are available in your area near you, and maybe stock up on a few of those if you.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got a little garage, oh my goodness, what you can find on there. I even found recently someone that wasn't doing Airbnb anymore, and they'd set everything up, and so he was selling everything off for 15,000. I thought, oh my goodness. So if you just keep your eye out, but
Yeah,
sometimes, like I said, it can get addictive, and I'm not making phone calls about the next property.
that would be me. Next thing you know, I've got a storage unit which is this artwork and decor, and it's like, wait, when are you doing another property? I don't know, but it's just
Yeah,
there.
it's
When I
ready.
get another one, yeah. Yeah, no, that's such great advice. And I'm trying to think of some other questions that people would ask. I put out a post yesterday because I was like, I'm gonna jump on with you today. Does anyone have any questions? Because I
Ah,
was mentioned,
yes,
yeah, on Instagram story that your background, and it'll be great for people wanting to understand design process more. And so hopefully we've answered enough questions in
yes.
interview, but I didn't get any. I had a comment, one comment that said, which was really sweet, they've enjoyed watching, I guess, season one, and they're looking
Oh,
forward.
me too. I've loved it.
I was like, oh, that's really sweet. I think it's someone from our community as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Really cool. But
Love
all
that.
right. Well, yeah, honestly, Katrina, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to put some more thought into this because I'd love to actually do like a proper session with you
Yeah,
where
that'd be
we
awesome.
we could even look at a property,
Yes.
look at the rooms,
Look
uh,
at Make sure you've got a floor plan
and a floor plan, and look at that. And
and
who knows,
photos.
maybe we could put a message in our that weekly wins channel,
Oh, yes.
the community. That's the one I'm in anyway. I don't know how many
Yes,
other groups there are, but maybe we could just say, hey, we'd love to, whoever's up to it, give us a property. And Katrina and I will, yeah, if you're happy to have it on
definitely.
YouTube, we'll actually do a whole design process
Yeah.
from start to finish,
Yes.
and
Per
show people how it's actually done. Yeah,
Yeah.
but in the meantime, your book, I think, could be really helpful for people. So I'd love to put that up. And where can people actually purchase that book?
Like I said, when we sold the business, that
Yeah.
went the rights of that went with the business. So I
Mhm.
haven't really stayed up to date with where it's on.
Okay. So which one is? So you said there's two.
Yes.
So the first one is you sold with the rights of the business.
Oh, both of them.
Oh,
Both of
both
it.
of them.
Yes. Both of
Okay.
them.
So you
Yes.
don't get any royalties from the sales of
No.
those anymore. Oh, I thought
No.
I was trying like promoting your books in order for you to get some more business. You wrote them.
But
It's your
that was, I mean, we sold the business for a really good price.
yeah,
It was,
that's
yeah, it made sense to,
good.
and
That's
it really was like a really good business card that no one would throw away and happily hand on to
yeah,
someone that was selling. So we just grew in reputation, and um, yeah, and that's why we're able to sell the business well
yeah.
when we did.
You don't happen to be working on another book?
Another book.
Yeah, no. There's nothing else in
Oh,
the works at the moment.
I'm working on how to stage, how to start a home staging business.
Ooh, okay. I know quite a few ladies in our community and friends of mine who are doing Airbnb and are very much into the whole staging process and design.
Yeah.
Who
Okay.
doesn't love that stuff? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking we'd have to get you all together, and we'll have a Zoom call, and we'll work out something special.
Fun.
I think
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
pulling everyone's knowledge from their different backgrounds. But any last or final words to people who are watching this and maybe they're still on the fence, maybe they've just gotten started doing our course, um, any words for them of encouragement or wisdom?
I'd say lean into your own strengths. I forget that often, and I think I need to do it a different way. But in retrospect, I look back and I think, oh, I should have just done it where I know my strengths are, or just being a little bit more patient with the outcome of something.
Mm.
Um, and even I didn't talk about the technology of it.
Yeah.
I when I said about earlier about listing the two at once, I was
Mm.
also learning all the technology associated, and that was pretty much did my head in, just
Yeah.
because I didn't know which area to put first. Airbnb, Booking.com, Guesty, Price Labs, and just learning all those things all together was.
Mm.
And then the photos were glitchy going from one to the other. Um, but it's fine. Well,
Yeah.
it's live now, and I forget about that now, but lean into your strengths, and if you've got someone there to help or oversee or talk things through, that takes the load off, a huge load off.
It sure does. So yeah, I guess the initial challenges of setting up the business and getting the properties listed, yeah, it can be challenging, but it can all be learnt. Uh,
Yes.
and yes, it may take a little bit of time, but
Yeah.
once you get it and you understand it, then you're on
Yeah.
your
Yes. Yeah. So
way.
much more confident now.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to hear. So what's the future plans for it? It is Maes Group, isn't it? I
Yes.
probably should have
Yes.
clarified that, but I do remember you saying, yeah, the company
Yes.
Maes Group. So what's sort of the vision and the plan? Are you wanting to get more
Yes.
rents? Yeah.
So we'll grow in the Sunshine Coast, and then down in Hobart, well, Tassie actually will do a Tassie area as well. And we'd like to be able to. We have a few or charities and homeless causes we'd like to be able to give to. So we've yeah, that's our motivating factor. We've also worked out recently that foster care in Australia is in a really bad way in all sorts of areas and reasons. So we'll be looking at helping support with that as well.
Wow. Wow. That's great vision for yeah, what you guys are wanting to do and achieve. And so what's the charity currently that you're supporting?
So it's Danny's bus. They have a bus that they take food for the homeless.
Mm.
Um, I think it's specifically on weekends, and they need a new bus. So they've had the same one for, I don't know, 20, 30 years, and it's on its way out. So we'd love to be in the position to replace the bus. So that's what we're doing it for.
Are they based in Tasmania?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And so what's sort of your process with that, with your business setup? Is it a percentage that you
Yes.
that goes towards that?
Yes. So 50% of the profits go to the Danny's bus. And then once that's filled, then we've got other flying builds and things people need the funding for. So we've got a lot of
What did you say that was?
fly-in builds where in PNG there's schoolrooms that are needed, and different relief that's needed with
Mm.
people that are connected with the church, and we'd love just to be able to be in the position to be more generous around that.
Oh, that is beautiful. I really appreciate you sharing that. That's actually something like maybe I should ask more of these questions and see if there is any like other people who are a part of supporting charities and other organizations and even putting up the links and websites if anyone who is watching this and would like to, check out some of these charities and organizations, we can leave the links for those here. So I'll make sure that our video editors do that. And yeah, I really love hearing that because we
Oh,
obviously are very passionate too about um,
yeah, I love that.
give back and
Yeah, love that.
we support. Yeah, everyone. I highly encourage that if you're you're wanting to run this business. Yes, you may want to run it for time freedom, financial freedom, and being able to have everything that comes along with that. But there's nothing more rewarding than being able to give back
Yeah.
and be able to help people who are in desperate
Yes.
need.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah, a lot.
need in our
Yeah.
world, locally and globally. And so, yeah, any way that we can contribute to that, I think is great.
Yeah.
And as the saying goes, what you put out, you receive anyway, and it's
Yeah.
whatever you receive,
Yeah.
it's just more to give away.
We've
in the
found that.
And I love that you
Yeah.
guys. Yeah. Oh, well, if anyone wants to book a stay at one of your properties, how can they do this? Have you got a website set up?
Yes, so we've just gone live with that. No one's booked on it yet. It's just a couple of days old, but
Yeah.
maesgroup.org.
maesgroup.org, and you can go on there and have a look at Katrina's beautiful, I should say Theo as well, because
Yes, yes, he's
Yes.
always so supportive of anything. I couldn't, I think some of my friends look at me with a little bit of envy because I get the green light without even having to ask. He's a beautiful man.
Oh, and I just love hearing that. So it's Katrina and Theo's incredible business, maesgroup.org. And do you have an Instagram?
Oh, it's just going live now.
At Maes Group or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maes Group. So give it a follow, and it'd be great if obviously through this YouTube segment that people can jump on there and be able to. Have you got the links on your website too for the charity?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's just been done.
Okay, that's brilliant. All right. Well, Katrina, thank you so much.
Thank you, Steph. Loved it.
I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all your knowledge around design process as well. I think that's going to really help some people. It's definitely a different approach I'm going to take for my next project, that's for sure. And and then we can keep in touch as well.
Oh, I love that.
Run a few things by you now.
Oh, definitely. It's so good.
Well, thank you so much. And
been a pleasure. Thanks again.
So in closing, I just want to say to the viewers who are watching this episode, thank you so much for tuning in to Behind the BNB. We really hope that this segment, or this episode, I should say, has really given you some insight into a bit of a design process, if that's something you've been struggling with. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with anyone you know who is interested in starting in Airbnb themselves. So take care and tune in for the next one. Thanks for watching.